You walk into the gym and you see him. No headphones, no music, no one to talk to. Just him, the weight, and the sound of his own breathing. You assume he is unfriendly. You assume he is just focused. But the real answer is far stranger than either of those things. Your brain is not built for silence. For most of human history, silence meant danger. A quiet forest meant a predator was near. So your ancestors' brains evolved to fill silence with noise, with chatter, with anything that signaled safety. Which is exactly why choosing silence today feels so unnatural. And exactly why the people who choose it anyway are doing something your brain was never designed to do easily. Think about the last time you sat with no sound at all. No podcast. No scrolling. How long before you reach for your phone? A 2014 study led by psychologist Timothy Wilson at the University of Virginia found that many participants would rather give themselves a mild electric shock than sit alone with their thoughts for 15 minutes. People chose pain over quiet. If that is true for sitting still, imagine what it takes to choose silence while your lungs are burning. So the person who trains without music is not simply someone who prefers it that way. They have trained their mind to tolerate a state most humans actively flee from. That tolerance is not a personality quirk. It is a skill, and skills can be built. Here is where the science gets strange. In 2013, neuroscientist M. Kirst at Duke University exposed mice to different sound environments. White noise, music, and silence, which was only meant to be the control. What she found broke that assumption. The silent condition triggered measurable growth of new cells in the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory and learning. Not the music, the silence. Your brain consolidates, repairs, and builds new connections in quiet in a way it cannot do anywhere else. So while you are hearing a hook and a beat, the person training in silence may be quietly rebuilding themselves. There is a second layer, and it has nothing to do with neurons. It has to do with attention. Psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi spent decades studying what he called flow, a state where a person becomes so absorbed in a task that time distorts and self-consciousness disappears. He found something consistent across the people who reached this state regularly. External noise had to go, not because sound is evil, but because flow requires the full bandwidth of your attention pointed at one single thing. Silence removes the competition entirely. Every notification, every lyric, every half conversation pulls a small amount of your attention away, and most people never notice the leak. Ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you gave anything 100% of your attention with nothing playing in the background? There's also what silence forces you to face. When the noise stops, the sensations return. The burn in your muscles. The exact moment your mind screams at you to quit. Music has a well-documented ability to mask these signals, making a hard effort feel easier than it actually is. Which means the person training with music is training a slightly edited version of the experience. The person training in silence is training the raw, unfiltered version, with nothing softening the moment where most people quit. If you have never practiced quitting without an escape hatch, you have never actually tested what you are capable of. Discomfort tolerance does not transfer from convenience. It transfers from repetition under real conditions. If you only ever push through difficulty while a song distracts you from how difficult it actually is, what happens the one day there is no song? Psychologist K. Anders Ericsson, whose research on expertise shaped how we understand high performance, found that elite performers were not separated by raw talent or even hours logged. It was the quality of attention during practice. He called it deliberate practice, and one of its core requirements is full concentration, without distraction, with immediate awareness of what is happening in the body. Silence is close to a prerequisite, which means the loudest gyms in the world may be quietly producing the slowest progress. So the person training without music has stumbled into, or deliberately chosen, one of the most well-documented conditions for actually getting better. Not motivated better. Better in the way that shows up on a scoreboard, on a bar, on a clock. Most of your day is now engineered to never be silent. Background music while you work. A podcast while you cook. Silence has become something people schedule around rather than choose. And the less practice you get sitting in it, the more unbearable it becomes when it eventually arrives, whether that is a waiting room, a sleepless night, or a hard set with nothing left to distract you from how much it hurts. The person training in silence is not colder than everyone else. They have built a tolerance for a mental state your ancestors feared, and your modern life is engineered to help you avoid. They have handed their hippocampus room to grow. They have protected the narrow beam of attention that flow requires. And every time they do it, they're rehearsing for the moments in life that will not come with a playlist. You walk past them again on your way out. No headphones, no music, just breathing and effort and quiet. And for the first time, you do not see someone who is simply focused. You see someone who has been training in the one condition your brain was never built to sit still in, and quietly getting stronger there than almost anyone else in the room. Subscribe my channel.